I get it. A lot of students are on the same boat. They actually wonder, do they really need to understand absolutely everything before they can start testing themselves? So today we're going to dive right into this mini lesson on, do you really need to understand everything before you test yourself? So this is a lot of students, what they really are doing at the moment from feedback that I've collected is that this is a typical cycle of what their typical learning or understanding a piece of information is like. So usually if you're in high school, then the teacher would teach you a topic, and if you're in high school, then it would be in the form of a lecture. Then you might have a recording and so on. So from that you would either attend high school in person or now online as well, and then with the lectures it can be in form of in person or online as well. Then what typically happens is a lot of students then spend a lot of time in this next step, which is making note, or them trying to synthesize, or rather some people even just transcribe what the lecturer says and actually type word for word what they've said and make it into a so-called note. And then what happens is that they repeat this process of actually either making notes, refining their notes, making them 7 colors, glittery, highlighting them, everything. And then after that, then they would spend a lot of time in this loop of just continue reading it, trying to understand it, and this is the loop that they go on. So they continue to read it, and then it's only probably not until maybe 1 or 2 weeks or 3 weeks away from exams, then they only start transitioning to this phase of testing themselves. So in a sense, then when they come to testing themselves, then they find that there's a lot of knowledge gap in the brain. So a lot of things they have read previously, or they spent so much time typing, it's actually not in the brain. That is really ironic, right? So the most time spent is actually reading and making notes, but the problem comes is that the exam isn't really testing your ability to synthesize notes and to make them all pretty and to collect everything in one place. It's actually testing for you to retrieve it from your brain, to put that on that piece of exam paper so you can do well. And then my question posed asking you is, if you follow this sort of workflow and diagram right here, and when you test yourself you don't leave enough time for you to actually cover all of the knowledge required, then what is the likelihood that you can do well in the exam? Because there's no knowledge in the brain for you to recall in the first place. So what I really want to propose for you is going against what this natural flow, or what most students do, because a lot of people are wasting a lot of time doing this and not achieving very well, because this is how they can study very inefficiently. You can be spending a lot of time but not generating a lot of results, which is informing your grade. So what I really propose you and actually want you to try and do is minimize the time that you are doing and making notes. Minimize the time that you are doing this loop of continue reading your note. But really, some students really do very well making this drastic change of, after listening to just the lecture once or listening to your teacher talk about the topic once, they go straight towards testing themselves and finding their knowledge gap. Because what does this do? It actually creates in your brain a really effective process, because it's trying to actively getting your brain to recall information. The harder you work your brain, the easier it is for your brain to retain that information, even if you don't know 8 out of 10 of the topic that is just taught, because your brain would be like, oh my goodness, this is a niggling feeling that I don't like and I want to fill this knowledge gap. So then when you go back to actually look at the lecture notes, or when you actually synthesize notes that way, it will be much more memorable, because it has created that emotion that you didn't know it in the first place. So your brain is eager to fill that knowledge gap. So I hope this mini lesson has been helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next